Well, I'm sure it's there. Keep looking, keep looking.
He starts to page down, and you see his hand sort of drops down, and almost as in a little bit of an open hand gesture.
And I'll drop 5 more platinum pieces in it.
As soon as he feels the 5 additional coins fall in his hand, he sort of gets kind of an insincere smile, and he says, "Of course, sir. Your name is right here on the list. How could I have ever missed that?"
I've got my security detail with me too. I point to my friends back there. They're coming with me.
Of course, as long as they have no weapons and they're appropriately dressed, I have no reason why they couldn't join us.
Well, they are security, so of course they've got weapons.
There's no weapons allowed on this boat, as you should know.
Absolutely, I do know that. I do. Well, yep. That's fine. We'll figure it out.
Very good. I do have a security chest here that my guards are willing to watch while the boat is on sail. They can drop them in this box if you would like.
Okay, I will tell them. And I wave them. I wave the party up.
So you can go ahead.
Yeah, and I explained to them that you're my security detail. You must deposit your weapons here.
And you see him kind of wave to you guys as you're standing over there, and you see all the people that are there now are pretty well in tune of what's going on, because this seems pretty highly irregular, and you hear a lot of whispering back and forth throughout the line. And even on the boat, people are sort of peering and seem to be very curious on what's going on.
I'm going to slide my shield into William's haversack.
Okay. Alrighty.
And then I'll give the rest of my weapons over.
Okay, gotcha. And so for the rest of the group?
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Alrighty. So you guys hand over the weapons. They take all the stuff, they put it in a box, and as they do, you see that Nelvin, who is the gentleman in front of you, is Nelvin. He introduced himself, Nelvin Storn. I'm the captain. He bends down, and as he does, he takes out a very ornate key. The key is, normally you would have a key where it has one side. This key has almost like 8 sides to it, metal sides, and they're cut in various different carvings on each side of that key, and he sort of sticks it in the lock, and as he does, he starts to turn the key, and the key, you can hear, it sounds like hundreds of tumblers for you. Hundreds of tumblers that you hear, and with you kind of having Thieves' Kits tools, you immediately recognize that is a lock that you have never seen in your life. And you hear the kind of the tumblers lock, and as it does, the box suddenly protrudes out these very large metal spikes, and they dig into the actual dock itself. And he takes the key out and he hands it to you, and he says, "When you are done, you are more than welcome to bring this key to me, and I will return your weapons to you."
Well, they're staying on the dock.
Absolutely. They don't come on the boat.
Oh, okay.
And he says, "Please, come aboard."
Now, my question to you is, did Melton get disarmed, or is he able to maintain his weapons?
So, Melton, I did an insight check, and he didn't notice anything on you.
Okay.
Alrighty. So you still have yours, and obviously Relenia still has hers, because she is wild-shaped. So you both have your weapons. The rest of the party does not. And the box is locked on the dock itself.
I'm going to take my shield bonus off my armor, just so I don't forget.
Great. Thank you.
Well, if William had half a brain, he would have stuck his greatsword into his haversack, maybe.
Yeah, he would have. I mean, William would have done that, too. So as you come on the boat, you guys are able to immediately walk up onto the boat itself. As you do, you are met by a very interesting appearing lady. I had described it earlier to Relenia. And she sees you walk on the boat, and she immediately smiles and says, welcome to the Grand Dame. Please." And she reaches back, and there's almost a waiter of sort that's standing there with glasses, and she hands you these very nice crystal glasses that are filled with a kind of a bubbly, sort of greenish yellow liquid. She says, "Only the best." And she hands it to you. She says, "Please feel free to enter in the casino, or if you would like to stay around the edges, there's going to be a beautiful, beautiful show on our exit here. So please enjoy yourself."
What is the drink?
So the drink is kind of a bubblish liquid. You see everybody else seems to be drinking it. You ask Pau that specifically, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah, Pau says, it's wonderful. She says, it is the Grand Dame's finest drink. You've never been here, have you? Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen any of you.
No, this is my first time in Yartar, and we've been pointed here to have, to experience the Grand Dame.
It's wonderful. We call it the Dragon Turtle Grip. She kind of smiles. She says, enjoy your time.
Thank you. We will.
So as you come onto the boat, you guys have come into the aft entrance, so towards the back there. You do see through the windows, you can see the casino that I described to Relenia as well. And you see that there's dealers at every table now. There's a couple people that are inside, but really there isn't very many at all. Most of the people are along the side of the boat here themselves. You do see about next 10 minutes or so that the boat continues to load up. And as you continue to look around, you don't see any rat in sight.
Is that a real golden goose out there?
It looks like a real golden goose.
So after I've kind of checked out the guys downstairs, I'll kind of head up and see if I can see, since people are coming on, I'll kind of look over the side and see if the party is trying to get on the boat or if they have gotten on the boat.
Yeah, sure. I'll just, let's see. Forget what your passive perception is. I'm going to look real quick. So you see there's definitely a lot more people now on the boat milling about. You got to be a little bit more careful kind of sneaking around now that there's a lot of people. It's very easy to get stepped on as a lot of these shoes and whatnot are could be potentially deadly. It doesn't take you very long, though. You do spot the group. They seem to be all dressed in very noble gear. You notice that immediately that Melton has his stuff, his crossbow that's kind of tucked underneath his regal apparel. However, everybody else doesn't appear to have any of their weapons or armor.
All right, I'll try to make my way over to the group and kind of paw at Barry's foot.
Sounds good.
Do we see anybody else with, familiars or creatures or pets with them? They carry their, little puppies.
Yeah. So you do, actually. There are, you see a couple that's sort of towards the front of the boat that seem to have these small little dragon snakes that you've seen before, kind of wrapped around their shoulders and up on their up on the shoulder or around the arm. And you do also see that there is a one older lady that seems to be holding what appears to be kind of a small little furry creature that has these tiny little wings on the side of it. It looks almost like kind of like a dog, but not quite. And she kind of just continues to sort of pet it. You've never seen that creature ever before.
Oh, another one of those dogs that the lion.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll pick up the rat.
Okay.
And cradle it like everybody else is, like it's like their little pet.
And the first thing you notice is that I am like the mangiest looking sewer rat that you have ever seen.
Yeah, and you immediately pick it up, and initially some people don't notice, but there's a young couple that's next to you, and they see you kind of holding that rat and petting it, and they immediately kind of beeline to the other end of the boat.
You're killing my street cred.
Hey, Barry, can you clean that rat up? I think you're scaring the folks.
I'll pet its fur, and try to make little.
Nice.
Just pet it down.
Yeah. So it's like bedhead. It kind of goes down, but there's still little pieces here and there that sort of stick up every once in a while. But it does look a little bit better.
I'll lick the pieces that stick up with my long tongue.
Oh my goodness.
Try to clean them up.
So as soon as Stig leans down and starts to lick, it kind of this rat, you immediately hear a few people behind you go, oh my, and next thing you know, you look around and there's nobody. Everybody is at the other ends of the boat, and you guys are sort of all standing there together.
I think we're all good, Barry.
I think we're all something.
About 10 minutes or so later, you do see that the people are on the boat, and obviously the captain's coming on and kind of walks around and has a seat, and it goes up into the top part of the boat. You see Pao Ming is still there holding the lines, and the dock is still in place. As that occurs, Pao Ming says, please, everybody, on the other side of the boat, if you're more than welcome to go take a look, you'll be able to see some wonderful light show. And kind of, that doesn't scurry, but sort of gently encourages everybody to the other side of the boat. As you go around, you do see what we would classify as typically fireworks. Obviously, there's a magical display of dancing lights and whatnot that are occurring on the other side, and you see pictures of, the golden goose and the boat and just general sort of nobility type of things that people would love, and people are cheering and whatnot on the side. As you do that and you're walking around, you see that now all the tables have a dealer that's there, and there's plates of drink as well as some hors d'oeuvres that are sort of put out and around the tables themselves.
While the fireworks are going off, I'm going to pay attention to see if anybody's not looking at the fireworks.
Okay.
Not interested.
Yeah, sure.
Any of the normal people.
Right. So the workers there generally don't seem to be that enthused by it, to be honest with you. You do see that Pao Ming is not here. She still is around the other side of the boat itself. But however, the noble people seem to be all generally enthused and, sort of clapping and whatnot. And you do see some people have sort of milled about around you at this point as well, even though they had moved away previously.
Okay.
As this occurs, you feel the boat has a sudden lurch, and you see kind of over the edge the long paddles sort of extend out from the side, and you hear a lot of the noble people sort of like oohing and eyeing, and you hear one of them say, "I've never been on a rowed boat before. This is wonderful." And the paddles or the oars start to go into the water and slowly start to move the boat away from the dock itself. As that occurs, you see people are generally milling about, going into the different areas of the casino. And as you walk around, you see the northern part of that with the purple tables or the red table appears to be a dining room, and there's tables that are filled with white curtains, and there's purple tablecloths, precious looking silverware, very gaudy chandeliers, and you see there's a wood staircase that leads up from that room as well.
Do we notice anybody paying like extra attention to us? I mean, I know we've kind of alienated everybody else.
Yeah, you don't. Everybody seems now at this point seem more to be interested in enjoying the night. You see that with the whole thing of you guys getting on the boat as well as with your pet rat, all that sort of people have sort of kind of brushed that aside now and are sort of milling about and doing things. Nobody seems to be coming up to talk to you necessarily, but that being said, nobody's really paying attention to your group either. You generally get the gist that everybody thinks they're more important than anybody else on the boat.
Okay, so I just follow Melton around since we're his security detail.
Yep.
But I'll just keep watch to see if anybody is like eyeing us strangely.
All right, that sounds great. So I'll have you kind of keeping a close eye on that to see if anybody's paying attention to you. As you kind of look, you see that essentially in the casino area, there's two games that are ongoing. One of them appears to be a dice game that you see there's one dealer and there's several people around, and they're kind of rolling dice, and there's cheering and whatnot, and the dealer's rolling as well. And then you see another game which appears to have a large square board. On this board you see there's ebony pieces of what looks like draw warriors and mages and priestess, and they obviously, one side is kind of a gray color, the other side is an onyx or a very black color there. And you see that there's two people there, and one is moving pieces and the other is moving pieces, and they're taking pieces off the board, and it seems like they're betting every time type of thing. So these
Do I
seem...
recognize this game?
Yeah, so kind of looking at this game, it looks like this game is not really a game of chance necessarily. This is more of a game of skill and deception, and the game is called Sava, which people do bet on and compete against each other to try to win. Usually takes about 30 minutes to play the game.
So, Melton doesn't like the Saba game. He's more interested in the dice game. He's going to try to see how that game is played.
Sure. So that is Kobold's Knuckles. It's simply kind of like a blackjack game, but it's with dice instead of cards. So the players play against the house, not against each other, and as many players can play as they want. Typically what you do is you make a bet, you roll dice in the open, I roll dice in the open, and then one die behind the screen, so it'll be hidden. Each player can choose to roll an additional die that they don't like, and then if you exceed 10, then you lose the bet. So
Okay. What kind of dice are you rolling?
so you roll a 1d6 and a 1d4 in the open.
Are you going to play Milton?
I think I will.
1 second.
I would try to give you guidance about how to roll the corner, roll towards the corner. So that the dice bounces off properly.
Okay, thank you.
As you kind of walk up, the dealer says to you, he says, and do you have your coins, your chips?
Well, then, I got to have chips. Where do I get the chips at?
Oh, you need to see Pao Ming. You see Pao Ming is again standing in the back over by the Golden Goose.
Okay, I'll walk over to Pao Ming.
Pao Ming kind of is standing there, and you notice that he has a large drawer, and there's two large half ogres, or half orcs, I should say, not ogres, standing next to him that don't really do anything, but they definitely seem to be kind of like security. And Pao Ming says, you ready to gamble?
I was going to give it a try.
Alrighty. How many Golden Goose would you like?
Well, how much does a golden goose? How much is a golden goose?
10 gold piece apiece, or 1 platinum.
I'll try 10. I'll take 10 golden geese.
Oh. Okay. And so she kind of reaches in and she takes out 10 of the Golden Goose tokens and passes them over to you with her hand out.
I guess you might as well go ahead and divvy up the money for the party, because I'm going to have to need it to do conversion.
No problem. There you go.
All right, and I will give her 10 platinum pieces.
Alrighty. She takes the 10 platinum and then I think the 6 for passing off to get on the boat as well. She takes those and she hands you those and she says, may you come back soon for more tokens.
Okay. Yeah, I took the 6 out in gold.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And so you get these wooden chips. They are exactly the same as the one that you guys got from the barge right in. And then
Did it look like she was like looking down her nose because?
Yes.
All right, that's what I figured.
Yep. Yeah, she's not impressed by the amount that you've purchased. And Relenia, how long is your wild trip for? I forget.
It's like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, great. I couldn't remember. Thank you. So you kind of go back to the game, and you see that they've just finished a game. The dealer seemed to really rake in on the last one. So essentially the way it works is you roll a 1d6 and a 1d4 out in the open. I roll a 1d6 in the open and a 1d4 behind the screen. You can roll as many more 1d4s as you want. If you go over 10, you lose your bet. After you've rolled your d4s, I reveal my d4, and then I roll any additional until I have at least 8 or higher. It's just like blackjack.
All right.
If you go over 10, you bust too, right?
You bust, that's correct. Yep.
Or-
If I do, you get 100% of the bet.
What if he rolls
But you can't go over 10.
5? What if he rolls 5 dice?
Ooh.
They don't have that here, so I don't have that one. I wish I would have invented this game, but yes, you're right. That normally would be the way it would work.
So I roll my dice and you roll your dice. And we're seeing who can make the highest without going over what number?
10. And I have...
We only do a D6 and a D4, so how are we ever going to go over 10?
Because you can continue to roll additional D4s if you want to. You don't have to. So it's like taking another card.
It adds on.
Right.
It's the same thing as getting a 21.
Correct.
You know, your initial draw could be a 10 and an 11. So
Here, we'll
Got
do...
it.
You okay? Or you want to do the first one without betting?
I got it. I think
Okay,
I got
cool.
it. And now, do you have to, like, you know, for the house, do you have to stay on a certain number? Like if you had an 8
I do.
total, you have to stay?
Yep. 8, 9, or 10.
And you have to keep pulling if you don't have a number up
Correct.
until 8, 9, or 10.
That is correct. And you won't see my first D4, but you'll see... So we'll roll our... You'll roll your D4, D6. I'll roll my D6, and then you'll see where I'm at. So...
Okay.
All right, and then my D4 will be after we bet. So the way it goes is that you make a bet, and it's a 1 golden goose minimum, and then we roll in the open, and then let's see, and then if you want to bet off the rolls that you see on mine, you can bet. If you don't, then you can just keep. Then we'll just keep the bet where it's at. But you'll only see one of my 2 dice.
Okay.
Alrighty, so go ahead and roll a D6 and a D4.
All right. Before I do that, I am
Yep.
going to use sleight of hand,
Okay.
and I'm changing out my dice for one of the charlatan dice.
I remember that. Yes, go ahead.
And hopefully somebody gave me guidance on that. So
I think that's what you're getting guidance on. So. All right. So you do that very deftly. You can roll your guidance if you want, but you probably don't need it.
all right. And so I will roll my D4.
All right, and your D6.
Yep.
Alrighty. And then your D6.
Well, I can make the D6 whatever number I want it to be.
Oh, that's right.
It's
What?
a
No,
Charlotte
that's right. You're right. What number do you want it to be? You're absolutely right. So you got a 1 plus whatever your D6 is going to be.
I'll make it a 5.
5. So it's 6. Okay, gotcha. And then I rolled a 2 for my die. And I already rolled my D4. Do you want to bet anything additional? Or are you okay with... What did you bet anyways? I don't know what you betted. But
1 platinum.
1. All right, or 1 gold.
goose.
1 golden goose. All right, gotcha. Any additional bets or keep it right there?
What you got up?
I have a 2.
No, I'll stand pat.
Okay, gotcha. So mine was a 4, so it's a 6 total. And it's 9. Oh, I didn't ask if you were going to roll. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you
I-
were going
I
to.
was
You
gonna
were.
roll.
I know you were. Go ahead and roll. Yep, that's fine.
Ah,
You can roll again if you want. That's fine. That's my fault. I forgot you were going to roll again.
that's the reason why I took a 5.
Yep, I know. There you go. So you had 10. I got whatever that is, and so you would get an additional golden goose. So you have 11. So that's how it works.
Okay.
You see that most of the people at the table had lost. You hear some grumbling and whatnot. However, people continue to to work on that. As he's kind of working on that table, Barry, you notice that there is someone that you didn't see enter the boat. There's a beautiful woman that's sort of sitting over at one of the tables, and she's got just a gorgeous purple dress on. She has a real dark black hair, and it's cropped really short on the sides. And there's kind of wears this stunning necklace with black stones kind of around her neck. She is playing a game of Sava, which is a chess game, and it looks like a kind of a gaudy, dressed older guy who's sitting there, and she's kind of moving things around. She seems to be very intent on the game. However, she sort of stands out just because of this purple dress.
The necklace that she's wearing, can
Yeah.
I tell if it has like any kind of symbol on it?
Interesting question. From this distance, you can't tell whether there's a symbol or not.
Okay, I'll tap Berlinia on the head and point her at that direction.
Okay.
All right. Berlinia does.
You broke up.
All right. So Berlinia does a fist bump and then scurries down under the table, takes cover, makes sure no one's watching, and then she'll sneak across the room towards the table that lady's sitting at.
Yeah, that's Lady Italia, I think.
Alrighty, and so as you do,
And I missed out. Who was Lady Italia?
She was someone I can't remember the Danya at the Winter Wind shop told us, if we saw her just to say hello. She's supposed to be like somebody important.
yep. As you kind of scurry over underneath the tables and whatnot, you kind of hear hear some movement of coins, and as that occurs, everybody else, or Barry, you see the white-haired noble gentleman kind of pushes a stack of Golden Goose coins across the table, and kind of rises up from his seat, and Relenia, you hear him say, "I don't know how you do it, Lady Italia. You seem to know my every move before I even know myself. I thank you again for your game." And he graciously kind of bends down and kisses the top of her hand, and he says, "Now I must, I think I need to find another table lest I squander all my coin I've spent a lifetime acquiring." You see that the young woman kind of smiles to him, and she says, "You do that, Lord Herbert, until next time." And she kind of pulls all the coins in towards her.
All right. While she's pulling in, as she's bending forward to pull in, I'll try to catch a glance of the necklace and see if it's got a K on it.
Yeah, so as you look, the necklace doesn't have any sort of markings on it at all.
Does it seem to be made?
It seems to be kind of the black onyx that you had seen, but there's no signs of any markings on it at all.
Okay. And so it doesn't. I missed it. Does it look like it's made out of onyx?
It does. It looks like onyx. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll just kind of.
Suddenly, as you're kind of there, kind of listening, you see that she kind of pulls the tokens in close to her, and she.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. You all right?
I don't know. It is literally only TeamSpeak.
I'm sorry, man. Maybe we'll have to look at something else for you. She reaches down and kind of grabs down to her leg, and as she does, she looks right into your eyes and says, "And who are you, my friend?"
So I'm sorry, I missed that. She saw me.
Yep.
Oh. I'll do in my best Ratatouille impression and beg for cheese and sing her a song.
And as she looks at you, she says, "I know you're not what you look like, but that's okay." And she kind of reaches back up and she sort of pulls the coins in.
I'll keep an eye on her to see if she's like casting any kind of spells or anything while
Okay.
she's placed.
Yeah, so she's kind of sitting there, and she doesn't seem to be casting any spells, moving any hands in a magical gesture. She's not whispering anything at all. However, you notice that she seems on the surface to sort of be aloof of what's going on in the room, but you notice that she's very methodical, where she's constantly looking at each person in the room and spending maybe 5 or 10 seconds sort of staring at them, and then she kind of moves around the room. You do get this glance where she looks at you, and the eyes just sort of bore into you, and you get this uneasy sort of weird feeling down the tickle of your spine, and then she just kind of sits there, and you see she smiles. It's not a threatening smile, but she smiles, and she just nods, and then she turns and starts looking around the rest of the room.
I'm gonna walk out on the deck to look at the water. Is there anybody out there?
So as you go out, there are people that are generally milling about. You see people coming out of the casino, and they're working their way over to the dining room, and you see people eating, and then you see people that are in the dining room kind of milling about and coming around to the other. You notice, though, that on this boat, everybody has a drink, and they seem to be drinking pretty heavily, so there's a lot of alcohol use being done.
I'm gonna try and ritual cast in the corner, like in my drink, kinda.
Okay.
Detect magic.
Alrighty, sounds good. So you kind of work on your casting the detect magic as you're doing that. You see that another nobleman kind of comes over and kind of talks to her, and she's very cordial and chatting with him. So, saying, kind of talking back and forth and what appears to be small talk. You see that she gestures to the table, and he sits down at the game of Sava, and they continue to play. And as you're intently watching her, she's moving through, and she's being very cordial and keeping conversation. But you notice that she still continues to kind of look around the room, and it appears that she's looking at people that she has not seen other people, right? Like the people that she hasn't looked at before. She's constantly taking time and kind of looking at each of them. Releni, I assume you probably went back over to Barry.
No, with her watching me, I'll just kind of scurry over to a corner and just kind of watch the entire room.
Okay. So you kind of continue to watch and whatnot, and kind of see what's going on. Barry?
Milton.
Yeah.
Milton, you want to go over and play with this lady over here, Lady Talia?
I don't want to play with them, lady.
You're ridiculous. You want to go gamble with her?
In 38 seconds, he's not going to have any money left.
Actually, well, back.
Yeah, Melton's doing good. He lost a lot there for a while, so he's doing better.
I'm back to a total of 9.
3, 4, 5,
Yeah, I had 10.
7. Yeah, he's out. He broke. Yeah, Melton's trying to cash in the money over there.
Yeah, Mel's trying to get his money back.
He's doing good until he lost.
Yeah, I doubled down.
Yeah, he did. Yep, the one time too.
I had a 9 and you got a 10.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So I didn't know you'd have so much fun with this game. I would have brought it out a long time ago, many years ago. So you finished casting Detect Magic, Stig.
Okay, I'm gonna go back in and kind of peruse the room.
Okay. So yeah, kind of perusing through the room, sort of trying to detect magic. You notice that Pao Ming does have sort of kind of a magical aura that's about him, but the rest of the room appears not to have any sort of magical effects, except for a small little rat hiding in the corner. I don't even know if that counts as magical.
What about the lady playing the chess game, the strategy game?
Yeah, so she's interesting. She does not appear to have any sort of magical aura around her at all at this point,
Okay.
despite her looking around the room.
I'm gonna move up to the cafeteria or the dining area, and I'll wander around there, checking everybody out.
Alrighty. So she As you go into the dining area, you again see various noble people that are here. You do see the stairs that lead upstairs. Appears probably to the bridge or something like that.
Is there anybody by the door going upstairs?
There's not.
I'll walk to the door and start heading upstairs.